Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 70 of Fundraising BIDness Talk. My name is Patrick Cyber. I'm the lead auctioneer and owner of G Events LLC, based in beautiful Beaverton, Oregon, and so happy to have you join us today. Today, we are getting together and visiting about some current things happening in the fundraising auction business and general topics that I have on the top of my head as I'm doing two events next week, but we're kicking off bidding on their online auctions today and then again on Friday. And as we've talked about, one of the things that I see happening a lot in the auction industry post-COVID is people embracing, as they should, the online auction concept, primarily to replace their silent auction from their pre-COVID event. But some people are doing actually both. In fact, the client that we opened up their online auction today. They actually have three auctions. They have an online auction, a silent auction at their gathering event, and then they also have a live auction that I'll be calling next week on Friday. But for the most part, I see most of our clients are moving to replacing their silent auction with an online auction for all the obvious reasons we talk about a lot here. And just to summarize for those tuning in for the first time, which, hey, please be sure to say hello and let us know where you're tuning in from. And as always, feel free to ask any questions as we go along. Regardless if they're on topic or not, it doesn't matter. If it has to do the fundraising auction business or fundraising golf tournaments, feel free to fire up those questions, and I would love to answer them for you. So, with that being said, our topic today is we embrace these online auctions in the fundraising auction business. I think it's a little bit confusing for the end user. Right? Not the online auction, not the gathering event, but the fact there are both. Okay. And we talk a lot about the best practices of an online fundraising auction include being open for bidding at least 7 to 10 days is what we know from the other side of our auction business that have been producing online auctions for 25 plus years. They always like to see things stay open at least a week, ideally 2 weekends. I think it's a little bit different in the benefit world where I'm not too concerned about 2 weekends. I am concerned about opening on a weekend. So a lot of times if we have a gathering event on a Saturday, we will open not the Friday immediately prior, but the Friday 8 days prior. And so we keep those online auctions open 7 to 10 days. And we start the bidding as low as possible, right? Because we know from our friends on the other side of the auction industry that as soon as somebody bids, that they have the pride of ownership and the fear of loss, and that they will continue to bid if they get in at a low number, at a low start. So we start most of our online auctions, with the exception of maybe there's a specific donor who's asked for a higher starting price. But for the most part, we start all of our online auctions at $10. Is the opening bid, and then the increments are $10, and then we graduate them up. And you can go back to fundraisingbidnesstalk.com and see the episode where I talked about how to price online auctions. But so my point is that as we start having gathering events also, right, I think there is confusion in the public's mind with respect to when you're advertising your event. Are you advertising the gathering event date, right? Or are you advertising the start of your online auction? And I encourage all of our clients to really promote a week of fundraising, and we have seen a lot of success with that, and it has worked very well. To promote a week of fundraising, not just the gathering event, not just the start of the online auction, but it is a week of fundraising. And when people look at, well, what happens in that week? Well, we start bidding on this day, and then we're going to gather and have a big soiree, a big gala a big gala, however you pronounce it in your world, on at the end of that. And it all, the week of fundraising culminates with that signature event, whether it's in person or, in my mind, whether it's in person or virtual. Uh, we like to push that 1 week time window, and so we promote a week of fundraising. And so but I see constantly by committees that are hosting fundraising events that they continually put up the date of, they say save the date, and they say save the date of the gathering event. And so they wonder why, when they open the bidding on their online auction, why they don't have any bids. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to talk a little bit about some strategies that we've found to be successful here at G Events, and with the clients that I work with, to encourage activity early in the week, and then some different things. So there's one key element that I'm going to save here for a few minutes, and let's talk about some of the obvious ones first, right? Obviously, you want to use your social media accounts. You want to let people know that bidding is open, things of that nature, uh, and and let people know that bidding is open today, and that they can bid right now, and that's all wonderful. I'm also going to always encourage you, uh, and I'll just share with you right now. I'm going to share um, a screen. I'm going to share a client of mine that we opened up today. Actually, we opened up at midnight, and um, this is their Facebook page, and this is their, yeah, that works perfect. And you can see right here, uh, you're invited 10 days of online auction, followed, September 14th through 23rd, followed by the Enchanted Forest, right? Now, this is a cool event because we're actually auctioning off a Tesla, of all things. This is for our friends over at NAMI uh, Clackamas. But yeah, we are auctioning a Tesla, which is really, really cool. But at the end of the day, this is they posted today. Online bidding is open, so that's great. I'm glad they did that. And then the other thing I'm going to tell you to do is obviously post on your social media, emails. I know that many of the auction platforms will allow you to send a um, email from their auction software. Obviously, we use Octria a lot here at G Events. We're huge fans of our friends at Octria.com. And Octria has some great tools. You can do custom emails. They give you a large stable of stock emails. But I think it's always important to send an email to all the people that are registered at the time when your own online auction opens, and send them an email reminding them how to bid, reminding them how to access the event website. I think sometimes people get notified via email, or they see it in a newsletter that you're hosting an event, and they go in and they register, and they're all fired up, and they get that confirmation email like most of the softwares provide, and then they forget, right? They forget how to get to that email. They forget how to get to that website. So I'm going to strongly encourage you to definitely send a special email when your online bidding opens, and notify folks right away um, that your online um, auction is open. Um, and then I always let them know, when is that going to be, um, when is that going to close, right? And in this case, it starts to close on September 23rd. We get into that another time about how we close things, but we always say start to close, because we are using the bid extension or the anti-sniping software. So notifying by email, that covers all of our um, registered people, right? But we also want to reach those people that maybe aren't registered. And our social media is a great way to do it. But there's algorithms. There's things that are not necessarily, um, they're not as foolproof as we would like, right? And of course, immediately, I mean, they made this post, and because I'm an admin on their page, because of the event tonight, instantly, um, Facebook or Meta, however you want to call it, they instantly want to offer you to spend a little money and to boost that to 557 more people per day. Um, and that's not necessarily a bad idea. I think it's fine. I haven't seen a lot of results from boosting of these types of notifications. I don't see them really doing a whole lot. But if it works for you, knock yourself out. That's totally understandable and uh, fantastic. Now, one of the things that I do like to see is we use a tool all the time where um, we do what we call a kickoff program, and that is a live stream that is custom designed just to kick off the online bidding. And so we will do a kickoff live stream for the client, and we will broadcast that into their social media accounts, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter. Currently, we use StreamYard like we are today, and we're not able to stream into Instagram. Instagram likes you to stream from within their app, and so that doesn't really work well in most cases for us. But we'll reach out to their social media account that we can stream to. We can do it simultaneously, and we'll do a kickoff live stream. And we find that those are quite honestly a huge success and a huge bonus for the online activity. We watch our events that utilize that tool versus our events that do not utilize that tool and or that service that we provide, and it is drastically different what we see. The volume of bidding happens um, is unbelievable when we do these kickoff live streams. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. I can share with you that uh, we have done, I don't know, probably close to 40 or 50 kickoff live streams. And they have been fabulous for us. We've been extremely excited about what happens, and um, they they just turn out really well. I built um, a simple um, a simple Vimeo channel that you can go to. It's within our G events within our G events Vimeo channel, but you can go to this one right here and you can see 26. I think there's 26 examples of kickoff live streams that we've done over the last year and a half, 2 years, whatever we started doing them. I guess it'll be 2 years in November. And these are just some good ones, but what we do in that live stream, in that kickoff live stream, folks, is we utilize that to get people motivated and to understand that fundraising week is here for the organization, that we are kicked off and you can bid right now. You can support that organization right now, whether you're coming to the gathering event or not. You don't need a ticket. Anybody can participate. And we specifically um, stream these to their social media accounts for one reason, and that is because that's where their largest audience is. And we will send an email to remind, if they have a nice email database, we'll send an email to remind folks to tune in to the live stream to learn more about how they can support the nonprofit over the next 7 days. But what we find is that we get a lot of activity from the social media account because we stream to it, and the general run of show is pretty straightforward. We're going to on these kickoff live streams, I will usually do them as the auctioneer, and I will do it from here in my home studio, along with a key contact with the nonprofit organization. So whether it's the executive director or the auction chair, principal of the school, whatever that key contact is that has some familiarity, with the audience, we will do that together. They sit remotely wherever they're at, and we do anywhere. Usually, I would say it's about 30 to 45 minutes, and we kick it off with kind of an explanation of why are we raising money, and uh, it kind of gives the audience an opportunity to understand and hear it straight from the nonprofit why it is important for them to raise money at this time. They uh, share a little bit about what the money is going to be used for, if they have specific needs for it, or if it's going to offset operational expenses because inflation has hit them hard. Whatever that is, that's kind of the mission moment opportunity in the kickoff live stream. We start with that is to tell the audience what we're going to do with the money that's raised over the next 7 days. And then the next thing that happens in the kickoff live stream is I will walk through how people can participate, right? So, what I mean by that is I'll usually share my screen and go to the, uh, I'll usually go to and I'll give you an example. Um, and I'll usually go to the events website, auction website, and I'll basically walk through the website. I'll give them a step-by-step process of how they can participate. So I'll start right at the top. I'll say, "Hey, here's the down and dirty information. We've got 10 days of an online auction. Here are the dates. Here's the name of the event. Here's who we're benefiting." And then, the first couple of things that you want to do is you want to register to bid, right? Number one thing, we want to register to bid. And even if they never bid, just the fact that they've registered to bid is important to the organization because it allows us to help grow that donor base. Now we've captured that individual's contact information in case they didn't know we didn't have it before. I think many times folks are fans of an organization on Facebook or on one of their social media accounts, but they haven't actually given their email address to the organization so that they could reach out to them at their discretion and ask for support or tell them about the great things um, that are happening in their organization. As my buddy Dee Dee Trisdale tells us all the time, she says, reach out to those to those donors and ask them, did you know? The did you know moment, right? Where you share something positive about what's going on in your organization. So the value of those emails, just getting people to register, is huge. Okay. And we traditionally will tell folks they don't have to give a credit card to register; they have to give a credit card to bid. So that's a nice deal. Then we walk through, and you can see on this website right now. Actually, we have the live stream. It's tonight at 7 o'clock. Okay, and it is. People can. I also have it here. So if the organization has sent an email and says, "Hey, tune into go to the auction website tonight and watch the kickoff live stream," they can do it, or they can do it from the social media accounts also, right? And then on this one, um, the big highlight of this event is this Tesla that we're going to be selling live bid on and online bidding, which is kind of fun. Do a little simulcast where folks can bid both online and in person at the gathering event. And then we go ahead and explain they have 3 auctions. I mentioned that earlier today. They have an online auction where anybody can register to bid. And then they have a silent auction just for the guests who actually attend the event. And then a live auction just for the folks who attend the event also. Um, with the exception of the car. The car is in both. The car is both online bidding and will be finished off at the live auction. And then we have an opportunity for folks to give a donation. Of course, we always want to thank our donors. So we go through, but in the kickoff live stream, I'll roll through all the way through this homepage and explain each of the elements. The other thing that we always do is I'll click there and I'll show people how to bid, right? So you've registered, and now you've registered, you can see all the cool things that they have. And I'll usually kick it over to my co-host, the representative from the organization. I'll say, "Hey, what are some of your favorite items that are up for bid right now?" And you can see all the starting bids here are at $10. Some of them have already received bids. That's pretty exciting because we haven't even done the kickoff yet. But they've got a lot of nice gift cards and whatnot. But I'll ask them, "Hey, tell me about your favorite. Give me a couple highlights in our online auction, right?" And when they do, I'll click on that item, and then I'll walk right through. and educate the viewer on how to participate, right? So you must register to bid. We'll show them that the bidding ends in 9 days plus bid extension. And we'll explain what that means. Even though Octria is fantastic with telling people, you just click on the highlight and it shares it with you. It'll tell you who the high bid is right now. We explain how that works, and then we show people how to bid using the proxy bid or max bid feature. And so we go all the way through every element of the event, right? And we show them how to use the things at the top. Like here's our auction catalog. You can go to the online catalog, the silent auction, or the live auction, all three. And when you get to the online, it explains what online means, right? So we share that with the folks and make sure that they all know. But it is a incredible tool, and one of the reasons that I am so fired up about it is that resides on their Facebook account, that resides on their page, all the way back to through the event, right? So the replay is constantly available. So everybody that comes to their homepage, now I'm always going to encourage you to pin that post to the top. Okay. So I would encourage them, and I will here shortly, that we take off. This is the kickoff live stream. This is where people get the reminder, right? This is how people know. And we encourage them to pin this post to the top of the page so that it is always at the top. And when people come back, they can watch the replay, right? So over the next 7 days, well, this event is on the 23rd, so we got about 9 days left. Like I said, we just opened it up last night at midnight, and so uh, it's an incredible opportunity for folks to be able to learn about the event. Now, one of the tools that we use in the kickoff live stream too is that we encourage uh, our a guest to participate in a little live drawing. StreamYard has a wonderful tool called StreamYard Giveaway, and we'll designate a hashtag. So tonight it's hashtag NAMI, and we'll invite all of the guests to type in the hashtag NAMI, and they will be automatically entered. It's an automated drawing system, and it works really well. I usually donate a $25 Amazon gift card to one lucky viewer who gets drawn out. We email that to them after the event. But you would be surprised. You would be surprised how many people will catch up and get in. And during these kickoff live streams, we're always encouraging the chat and to ask questions. Gives you a good feel on what kind of questions or what's important to your audience. And so we get to communicate back and forth with the audience in these live streams. And they are a tremendous, tremendous asset for promoting your online auction component. Because when you hit that go live button on whether you're using StreamYard or doing it directly in Facebook or one of the other social media platforms, it notifies your followers that you have gone live. And so that's a great deal. People tune in and they watch and they see what's going on, and they learn about your event. And so I would highly, highly encourage you to consider doing a kind of a kickoff live stream to promote the start of your online bidding in your online auction, regardless of what your crescendo event is, whether it's a virtual event or whether it's an in-person event. I think that you want to showcase when your online bidding starts, because that's when you start raising money. And I always remind folks, every bid, right, whether you win the bid, when you win the item or not, every bid is raising money for that nonprofit. So incredibly important to get people bidding. And so that is fantastic. Hey, if you have any questions, feel free, drop them in the comment box. Be happy to answer them right now. Also, be sure to say hi. Let us know you're tuned in and where you're tuned in from. Always enjoy hearing from the folks that are watching the program and seeing what's going on in their world. But yeah, we've got an exciting next 10 days here. We're going to do two kickoff shows, one tonight at 7 for Nami Clackamas, and then we're going to be, and we've got their online bidding rolling, and then we're doing an elementary school next week. We're doing their kickoff on Friday. Their event is Saturday, the 24th. So we're going to kick their event off on Friday. I always find, people ask me sometimes, what's the best time to do the kickoff live stream? I always say, what's the best time for your audience, right? When is the highest probability we're going to get an audience? I find sometimes noon really works well. Other groups, like the group tonight, we're doing at 7 o'clock. That they find that their audience is more susceptible or more receptive, I should say, to following on a live stream if we do it at 7 o'clock. So we're going to do that one tonight at 7. Quite honestly, folks, don't get caught up in how many live viewers you have on the program, because the reality is that the value comes in that replay, being a part of your event website, but also being up on those social media accounts so that people can watch the replay at their convenience. Right? We're all into that webinar experience today, and being able to watch at our convenience. Right? We live stream when we want, the Netflix effect, as I call it. So that's fantastic. The other thing I'm going to tell you when sharing that online auction, get with your committee. And I'm going to encourage you to get with your committee and check on your specific auction software. But I know I'm going to use this example again. This is with Octria. I'm going to go bid on this item, this Tesla that we are selling. Um, and when I go there, when I go to that, you'll notice that there are a couple of social media account icons right here, Facebook and Twitter. Now, these are my personal Facebook and Twitter accounts. When I registered on this website, it recognized my email and cross-referenced that with Facebook and Twitter, and it knows my accounts. So if I click on the Facebook icon, it will take me to Facebook and it will build a basic post and then allow me to add something or to comment on it. Okay. And I think that this is a terrific, terrific way for your organization to showcase some of the items in your packages or some of the items in your auction, in your fundraising event, to a much larger audience. And so, what I encourage a lot of times is our board of directors, our committee, our parent community, please go into the auction, pick a couple items. And if you think, hey, I don't need a Tesla, but I know so and so is a big fan of Tesla, or I know that many of the friends of mine in my Facebook account are Tesla fans, share it on there and say, hey, what a great way to support Nami Clackamas and get that Tesla, all on the 23rd of September, right? And then post that out there. That will expand the reach. I tend to think, folks, that that is more powerful than having your helpers, whether it's the board, whether it's the committee, whether it's parent community, whatever it is, just sharing the event. Okay. I don't know about you, but since COVID hit, my Facebook feed is filled with fundraising events, right? But what's unique is your individual packages. And in this case, this Tesla is going to draw a lot of attention. If I scrolled through my feed and I saw that somebody was auctioning a Tesla for their fundraiser, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to check it out. But if I just saw that so and so organization was having a fundraiser, I may not click on it. So be sure to share your individual items as best you can. Um, and most, like I said, most of the auction software, um, most of the platforms have some type of feature for you to share the items out with your audience. So please, 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 do not hesitate to use that. Hey, our buddies at Octria are tuned in, giving us a little green heart. So thank you guys. Probably Lori or Rob or someone. Yes, it is Lori. Costs nothing but a few seconds to share, and it's so powerful, Lori. I mean, it's ridiculous. I just think it's incredibly powerful for folks to push it out there and share, not necessarily the event, share the items, share those highlight items in your auction, in your event. Maybe you have a raffle that you are is open to whoever has an internet connection and they can buy it. Now, got to follow the state guidelines, right? Here in the state of Oregon, you can't have a raffle, can't sell across state lines, right? It then qualifies as a lottery. But whatever it is, folks, make sure you share the highlights of your event, not just the events. And I think it'll drive some activity to your website. If you started your pricing right, you start those prices, those first bids at $10. Um, that gets people enticed. I mean, I think about this event right now. There's some pretty cool items in here that started at $10, and somebody's going to get a heck of a deal. Uh, they won't end there, but they think they're going to get there. And I always, people ask me about this. You really start things at $10 in a fundraising auction, because we were always taught that you start all your bidding in your silent auction at 40% of fair market value, and you do 10% increments, and then run it up to 150% of your fair market value and put a buy it now line, right? And what I recognized was when we moved to online from the silent auction environment over the last 2 years, that there was a lot of things that had changed. We were no longer restricted to a 60 or 90-minute social hour to bid on our silent auction. Uh, we were not restricted to the number of lines on the bid sheet. We were not competing with the lines at the bar or seeing people that we hadn't seen since the last gala. All of a sudden, we had a window of 7 to 10 days and 24/7 ability to to uh, to bid. And so um, that's where we have to compare to what's done in the traditional online auction industry, selling antiques, collectibles, personal property, cars, real estate, farm equipment, all those other elements of the auction industry. And those folks have been doing it this way for years. They start things at $1. I know my good friend Barrett Bray out of Edmond, Oklahoma, uh, was sharing with me when I was doing some research here a couple of years ago. He started a house at $1, and 10 days later, it sold for 1.35 million. What happens, folks, is that you see that trip to Mexico, and it's a $5,000 trip. And if the bidding was at $1,000, okay, if the opening price was at $1,000, I don't think there's very many people who are just curious about an event or curious about an item. They click on it and think, hey, I'm going to drop $1,000 right now, right? But I do think that when they click on that item and they see that they can bid uh, $10, $100 on this $4,000 trip, they get all jacked up. And as soon as they bid, folks, they can feel their toes in the sand, and they can feel their toes in the sand and that margarita in their hands with a sweaty glass, right? And they will keep bidding because as soon as they feel that their toes in the sand, they're not going to give up, right? They have the pride of ownership and the fear of loss, and so they're they are uh, they are going to be they're going to be keep bidding, and you'd be shocked. They'll bid a lot more than that opening price that you used to have. Hey, look here, I got to we've got an international audience. We've got an international audience tonight. I want to thank my buddy Flash. Flash has had to come to Rome 9 hours ahead from where I'm at here in Beaverton, Oregon. But so it's about 9:35 Flash's time in Rome. But hey, John, thanks so much. Thank you so much for tuning in live. I think this is John's first time to tune in live. He lives on the East Coast, back there where Lori does in Florida, and Flash usually watches the replay, so I don't get to see his name flash across the screen. So Flash, enjoy Italy. Have a great time in Rome, one of my favorite spots. My in-laws live there, and we were there many years ago. It's a fabulous place. So thanks for tuning in, John, and always Flash. Appreciate all the great comments you give me, both on the screen and in the emails and the texts. So anyhow, folks, don't underestimate the value and the importance of promoting when your online bidding starts, right? Um, you You've got to promote when that online bidding starts, whether it's the traditional methods of email and text messages and sending out notifications through the auction software, putting it on your social media. I'm going to encourage you, think about using that kickoff live stream. We started doing this a couple of years ago. It'll be in November. I think we did our first one was with Sherwood Sherwood Athletic Boosters, and Amy there at that time was their auction chair, and her and I got on the screen, and we didn't know what we were doing, and it was great. And we had a great time, and I pretty much I've written it right into my contract that I do it on almost every auction that we do now, because that is incorporating online bidding, which I think every one of them is in some fashion, because I think it's incredibly powerful. I saw after we did that first one, some of the groups that didn't embrace it, I saw their results versus the results we were getting, and it was crazy. So it's been a lot of fun. Flash, thanks for the great comment. I appreciate it, buddy. Uh, thank you so very much for the kind words. But folks, it's couldn't be more important. If you want to have success in this new environment, please don't do things the way you did them in 2019, because the industry has changed and your bidders have changed. They've evolved. Your supporters have evolved, and you need to reach them on all sorts of different levels. And whether it's an in-person event, whether it's a virtual event, whether there is an online bidding component, I'm gonna encourage you to utilize each of the tools to the best to fit your organization. And when you do, I think online bidding is going to be one of them. And when you're going to use online bidding, um, make sure that you tell them when they can start bidding. And I encourage you to use that kickoff live stream. So, folks, hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in today. If there's no more questions or comments, feel free to ask them in the next couple of seconds here as we get ready to wrap it up. But we're so excited. Hey, Fundraising BIDness Talk is live every Wednesday, at least almost every Wednesday. This is episode 70. And if you missed an episode, Flash normally misses an episode, and he has to go to fundraisingbidnesstalk.com. All 70 episodes are listed there, and you can catch it out. I also want to encourage you folks, hey, if there's an opportunity, you've got a question you want to visit with me, go to geventsllc.com. There's a scheduling app there from our friends at Calendly. You can schedule your own 30-minute, 60-minute Zoom call with me. I'd happy, regardless of where you're at in the country or the world, evidently, John being in Rome today, feel free to reach out and schedule a time. Let's get together and talk about your event. Maybe I can help, maybe I can't, but I bet you I've got some insight for you. So let's get together and visit about that. And so appreciate that you tuned in today. Want to remind you that it does not matter where you start the bidding. It's all about where you finish. I hope you have a terrific, terrific day. We'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday on Fundraising BIDness Talk. Bye, everybody.